Popular animated series South Park could face legal action following last week's episode attacking a royal couple. Prince Harry and wife Meghan's lawyers.
Look, when you're a prince and you're getting legally demolished by a cartoon that features a talking piece of poop as a Christmas character, you know your life has officially gone sideways.
So I'm curious, what do you guys think about Brexit?
You think we care?
I didn't know I had to curtsy. To me, we were just meeting his super old, kind of weird Mima, who always wore this diamond-encrusted hat.
He's right. Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
Your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
That's fine, I'll go it alone. Just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
See, I didn't know who H was. At the time, I just loved his Insta feed.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
When the song come on, let me see you get down. Baby mama, this shot's been pregnant for way too long.
Hey.
Did you know it's cold in there?
Yeah.
Must be an American thing.
It's not.
But they couldn't have imagined being made a laughingstock by the cult cartoon South Park.
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. So you're a journalist.
Look at this town. There's just something about it. Oh, darling, I think this might be the play.
You really think so? We can have a fresh start here.
I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
Why are we so mad today?
Because we want our privacy.
Harry's out here trying to sue South Park like they personally invaded his therapy sessions and broadcast them during the Super Bowl halftime show. The man who once wore a Nazi costume to a party is now claiming cartoons are giving him emotional trauma. The irony is so thick, you could serve it at a royal banquet. So, Harry and Meghan are sitting in their Montecito mansion, the one that costs more than most countries' GDP, and they're having what can only be described as the most expensive mental breakdown in human history.
Prince Harry and wife Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard. In fact, South Park has just knocked them out. Harry last year wrote a book called Spare, which smashed his brother, his father, his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, the media, and many, many others.
Harry's pacing around like he's rehearsing for a one-man show called How I Lost My Mind Over Cartoons, while Meghan's stress-eating organic kale chips that probably cost $40 a bag. The man who once served in Afghanistan is now being emotionally destroyed by animated characters created by two guys who probably still think bodily function jokes are peak comedy. These are the same creators who made Jesus fight Satan in a boxing match, but somehow Harry thought he'd get special treatment because he's got fancy bloodlines.
It turns out that both creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone over at South Park Studios and Paramount have already created a storyline, get this, for their upcoming DEI special toward the end of the summer that is set to mock Meghan Markle and her pregnancy video.
The whole situation started when South Park dropped their Worldwide Privacy Tour episode, and Harry and Meghan got absolutely roasted harder than Sunday dinner at Windsor Castle. The episode showed them jet-setting around the globe with "We Want Privacy" banners while literally doing the opposite of maintaining privacy. It was like watching someone complain about being wet while standing under a running shower. The accuracy was so brutal that even their biggest supporters were like, okay, that's actually pretty fair. But here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. Harry's legal team is burning through billable hours like they're trying to set a Guinness World Record. These lawyers are probably charging him more per hour than most people make in a month, and they're sitting there explaining to a literal prince why he can't sue a cartoon.
Down with the monarchy! We deserve our privacy!
One lawyer reportedly told him, "Your Royal Highness, you can't claim emotional distress from satire when you literally wrote a book called Spare, where you aired out your family's dirty laundry like you were hosting a royal garage sale." The man went from spare air to spare feelings faster than you can say constitutional monarchy. The legal team probably had to explain to Harry that South Park has been making fun of everyone from celebrities to religious figures to world leaders for decades. And somehow they've managed to avoid getting sued into oblivion. They've mocked everyone from Tom Cruise to the Pope, but Harry thinks he's special enough to be the exception.
South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance, so it's not something that they would be able to sue about, and I generally just don't believe it, really.
These lawyers are earning their money by basically giving a grown man a reality check about how comedy works in a free society. The funniest part? Harry's trying to argue that South Park is causing him emotional damage, but this is the same guy who voluntarily sat down for a Netflix documentary where he basically roasted his own family for 6 episodes. That's like complaining about getting wet after you voluntarily jump into a swimming pool wearing a 3-piece suit. You did this to yourself, mate.
Hey, it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats, but there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food. Don't taste the food. Drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Weddy.
He spent hours on camera talking about how his family emotionally damaged him, but somehow a cartoon is where he draws the line. Now, Meghan's involved, and she's apparently in full crisis management mode. Sources say she's demanding updates on every single leak about the upcoming South Park episode, like she's running a military operation. The woman who once said she didn't Google herself before marrying into the royal family is now probably refreshing South Park fan forums every 5 minutes. She's gone from, I don't know much about the royal family, to, I need to know every detail about what Matt Stone and Trey Parker ate for breakfast this morning.
Hey, Satan, you got a little problem.
What?
Somebody showed up in a crocodile hunter costume. It's really offending some of the other guests.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, hi, listen, dude. You know, the whole crocodile hunter thing, it's just a little soon, you know? I mean, he just died a few weeks ago, and it's just not super cool. You gotta leave.
But it's me, Satan. Steve Irwin. I am the crocodile hunter.
The transformation is honestly impressive. Meghan went from Hollywood actress to royal family member to Netflix producer to full-time South Park monitor. That's a career trajectory that nobody could have predicted. She's probably got Google alerts set up for every possible combination of South Park, Prince Harry, and cartoon pregnancy, which has got to be the weirdest search history in royal family history. And get this, they tried the defamation angle first. Their lawyer sat them down and basically said, listen, you can't claim they're lying about you when the stuff they're making fun of actually happened. It's like trying to sue someone for saying you have brown hair when you literally have brown hair.
While being on Oprah that had 50 million viewers, people who want privacy don't do that. You live your life quietly in privacy. So
the South Park episode about their privacy tour was brutal, but it wasn't exactly fiction when they were literally on a worldwide tour talking about wanting privacy while cameras followed their every move. The defamation case fell apart faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. You can't claim someone's damaging your reputation by accurately depicting your public behavior. South Park didn't make up the fact that they did a privacy tour while being followed by cameras. That actually happened. The lawyers probably had to explain to them that satire based on factual events is protected speech, not defamation. The privacy argument went down faster than the Titanic.
they're putting themselves on the world stage using expensive PR while demanding privacy, while writing books. Such hypocrisy. I think they did a brilliant job.
Harry's team tried to claim South Park was invading their privacy. But here's the thing. You can't claim privacy invasion when you've been more public than a Times Square billboard. These people have shared more personal details than a drunk person at a wedding reception. They've told us about everything from family arguments to personal therapy sessions to Harry's frostbitten private parts, but suddenly a cartoon is crossing the line? The privacy claim was so weak that even their own lawyers probably laughed when they first heard it. You can't do a tell-all interview with Oprah, write a memoir detailing your family's private conversations, and then complain when someone makes fun of you for being public. That's like streaking through Times Square and then complaining that people saw you naked.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim, when there's nothing to be a victim about, and there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
Then there's the pregnancy video situation, and this is where things get really wild. Meghan posted this video of herself dancing while pregnant, and now South Park is apparently planning to turn it into comedy gold. Harry's reportedly having nightmares about animated versions of themselves, which honestly sounds like the plot of a psychological thriller. The man's being haunted by cartoons, that's a level of modern anxiety that probably didn't exist when his grandmother was running the show. The pregnancy video was Meghan's attempt to show authentic maternal joy, but South Park's apparently going to suggest it was more staged than a reality television show. The rumored episode is called Respect Our Pregnancy, and leaked storyboards supposedly show cartoon Meghan rehearsing dance moves on a Netflix-style set with ring lights and production assistants. If that's accurate, it's going to be absolutely devastating because it hits at the core of their authentic brand.
Their approval ratings now have fallen below Prince Andrew's in America. I mean, how unpopular do you have to be less popular than him?
But wait, it gets better. Harry's been calling every Hollywood contact he has, basically begging for help, like he's collecting signatures for a petition. This is a guy who used to party with Vegas strippers without a care in the world, and now he's cold calling directors asking if they can make South Park be nicer to him. The transformation from party prince to please be gentle with my feelings prince is honestly impressive in its completeness. Harry's Hollywood Rolodex has probably never gotten such a workout. He's calling people he barely knows, trying to cash in favors from acquaintances, and probably name-dropping his royal connections, like they matter in a town where everyone's got connections. The desperation is real, and it's gotta be humbling for someone who's used to people wanting to talk to him, not the other way around. One director apparently told him that trying to pressure South Park would backfire because Trey Parker and Matt Stone would probably read any cease and desist letter on air and turn it into material.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
These guys made fun of Scientology, Islam, Christianity, and pretty much every celebrity alive. Did Harry really think they'd make an exception for him because he used to wear fancy hats at state dinners? The Hollywood response has been basically, thanks for calling, but we're not getting involved in your cartoon war. One executive reportedly told Harry that South Park's hustle outranks a prince's pleas, which has got to sting when you're used to having doors opened for you just because of your last name. The Hollywood elite are basically treating Harry like he has a contagious disease. Nobody wants to get involved because South Park's comedy army doesn't mess around.
It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time. I'm sorry, but I'm going to make you watch it.
These are the same people who will publicly support every social cause on Instagram, but when it comes to actually helping Harry fight a cartoon, suddenly everyone's busy washing their hair. One A-list actress who used to promote Meghan's brand told Harry to brace for impact instead of offering help. That's like your best friend telling you good luck when you're about to get into a fight they could easily help you avoid. The silence from Hollywood is deafening. These are people who will rally around every cause from climate change to social justice. But when it comes to defending Harry and Meghan from cartoon characters, crickets, it's like they all collectively decided that getting on South Park's bad side is worse than disappointing a prince.
Closely watching the show after the pair were targeted by the satirical cartoon in an episode called Worldwide Privacy Tool.
That's got to be a reality check for Harry about where he actually stands in the Hollywood hierarchy. The palace back in Britain is watching this whole drama unfold like they're binge watching a really good reality television show. King Charles is probably sitting there with his tea thinking, well, this is what happens when you try to out Hollywood. The royal family's official position is basically not our circus, not our monkeys, which has got to sting when you're used to having the full weight of the British monarchy behind you. Palace insiders are reportedly saying that if Harry wants to sell his family's drama for money, he's got to accept the caricature that comes with it. That's basically the royal family's way of saying, you made your bed, now lie in it. The cold shoulder from his own family while he's getting roasted by cartoons has got to be the loneliest feeling in the world. Prince William's team is even colder than a British winter. They're treating this like Harry's self-inflicted wound, which, honestly, fair point. It's hard to feel sorry for someone who voluntarily jumped into the media circus and then complains when the circus makes fun of them. William's probably thinking, I told you so in the most polite British way possible. The Windsor family WhatsApp group is probably very quiet right now. Harry's probably sending messages about South Park and getting left on read by everyone from his father to his cousins. That's gotta be worse than any cartoon could ever be. Being ignored by your own family while strangers on the internet laugh at you. Meanwhile, the internet is having the time of its life. Twitter's exploded with hashtags, TikTok creators are making parody videos of parody videos, and meme creators are working overtime. Harry's name is trending alongside phrases like royal fraud and brand meltdown, which is probably not the kind of trending he was hoping for when he signed that Netflix deal. The memes are coming faster than Harry can handle. Every day, there's a new joke, a new angle, a new way to make fun of the situation. Social media has basically turned into a 24/7 roast session of Harry and Meghan, and South Park hasn't even aired their new episode yet. That's the power of anticipation. Sometimes the buildup is more damaging than the actual event. Social media analytics show that positive chatter about Meghan's brand is down 14%, and the episode hasn't even aired yet. Their sponsors are getting nervous, like parents at a school play when their kid's about to perform. Some companies are literally asking for tone assurances before they'll continue working with them. That's corporate speak for please promise us this won't be a complete disaster. The sponsor situation is probably the most practical concern they have. These companies don't care about royal feelings, they care about their bottom line. If being associated with Harry and Meghan becomes a liability instead of an asset, they'll drop them faster than hot potatoes. That's the reality of modern celebrity. You're only as valuable as your public image. Here's the thing that makes this whole situation even more ridiculous. Harry and Meghan have basically two options, and both of them are terrible. Option 1, laugh it off and pretend they're totally fine with being turned into cartoon characters. Option 2, fight back and risk looking like they can't take a joke. It's like choosing between being punched in the face or kicked in the stomach. Either way, it's gonna hurt. The strategic nightmare is real. Every PR expert they consult probably gives them different advice, and none of it's good. They're stuck in a no-win situation where any response makes them look worse. That's the genius of South Park. They don't just make fun of you, they put you in a position where any reaction proves their point. If they go with the humble approach, they'll have to basically admit that South Park got under their skin, which defeats the whole we're unbothered narrative they've been trying to maintain. But if they fight back, they look like they're picking a fight with a cartoon, which is about as dignified as arguing with a toddler about bedtime rules. The humble approach might work if they could pull it off convincingly, but their track record suggests they're not great at letting things slide. These are people who felt the need to respond to every tabloid story and every piece of criticism. Suddenly developing thick skin about South Park seems unlikely. The worst case scenario is if South Park creates a catchphrase that sticks to them forever. Comedy shows have this evil superpower where they can create a joke that follows you for the rest of your life. If Pillow of Truth becomes a thing, Harry's going to be hearing that phrase at every public appearance for the next decade. That's like having a permanent nickname that you hate, but everyone else finds hilarious. Catchphrases are the nuclear weapons of comedy. Once they stick, they're impossible to get rid of. Harry could cure cancer and solve world hunger, but if Pillow of Truth becomes a meme, that's what people will remember. That's the terrifying power of viral comedy. It can define you forever. What makes this even funnier is that Harry's dealing with the same helplessness he felt as a kid, except now, instead of walking behind his mother's coffin, he's watching his dignity get buried by animated characters. The man's gone from grieving prince to meme prince, and there's something beautifully poetic about that transformation. The parallel between his childhood trauma and his current cartoon trauma is almost too perfect. He couldn't control the narrative about his mother's death, and now he can't control the narrative about his own life. The difference is that this time, the whole world is laughing instead of sympathizing. South Park's creators are probably sitting in their offices right now, eating pizza and laughing at the fact that they've got actual royalty losing sleep over their cartoon. They've turned media warfare into an art form, and Harry's learning the hard way that you don't bring feelings to a comedy fight. These guys have been doing this for decades. They know exactly how to push buttons and create maximum chaos with minimum effort. The power dynamic is fascinating. Two comedy writers from Colorado have managed to completely destabilize a prince's mental state without even trying that hard. That's the kind of cultural influence that monarchs used to have, but now it belongs to cartoon creators. The times have definitely changed. The clock's ticking, the episode's coming, and Harry's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Except the rock is his wounded pride, and the hard place is admitting that a cartoon show beat him at his own game. This is either going to be the moment Harry and Meghan prove they can roll with the punches, or the day South Park officially won the culture war against the Sussex brand. Either way, we're all going to be watching with popcorn, and honestly, that might be the most entertainment value we've gotten from the royal family in decades. Sometimes the best comedy writes itself, and this situation is basically a masterclass in how not to handle being made fun of by professionals. Harry's about to learn that in the game of comedy, the house always wins, and South Park is definitely the house.